You're listening to the Impact Warrior Podcast. This podcast was created out of a vision to have like-minded entrepreneurs who have faced similar battles and understand how difficult entrepreneurship can be. We will feature guests who are here to share with you how rewarding the journey can be if you stay focused and disciplined to achieve the desires of your heart. Every business owner will face a certain level of difficulty at some point, regardless of the industry. And we are here to share with you the story of warriors who have knocked down massive walls to inspire you to keep fighting on this journey. Let's conquer the journey together. And here's your host, Casey Zeman. I'm Dakisha, your virtual COO, also known as the Webinar Queen. And I am on a 10-year journey of building what I consider to be a legacy. And I started using webinars in my business. And so if you think back to when I started my company, my kids were 5 and 11 at that time. So my son was going into kindergarten and my daughter was going into the 6th grade. So I was at a point where I wasn't able to travel. Like, I was in coaching programs, and the one thing that I heard them say is that you have to speak in order to build your business. You have to get on more stages in order to build your business. You got to get in front of more people in order to build your business. So I'm sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because I can't do that. I can't do that. Like I literally walked away from corporate America where I was traveling. I was flying somewhere 3 days out of the week. So if I turned around and did that all over again, it was like, no, that's what you left corporate America so that you could be home with your kids. Now, I didn't tell you that my daughter said I missed the first week of school 3 years in a row, but that's neither here nor there now, but that's how it all started.
Someone's going to be disappointed. I mean, that's the thing. Entrepreneurial life, you're going to be disappointing somebody.
Oh yeah, we had a conversation earlier about me missing the webinar con.
You see, there's FOMO everywhere, and
yeah, and that was like the last live event before the pandemic.
That was my last time I flew anywhere.
That was the absolute last one, because I think if not, that was her last meet, or like close to the last meet of that year. So I started using webinars, and it's funny because I always have to tell this story. I learned how to do webinars using the EasyWebinar plugin.
So back in the day when we were, before we were what we are, we were the EasyWebinar plugin.
Yes. So I literally practiced setting up webinars, hosting webinars when EasyWebinar was a plugin. So it's exciting because Casey Zeman was like on my Dream 100 list. And here we are today having a conversation about using webinars. That's how I came full circle, to where we are today.
I love that. I love that because that's like impact right there. I didn't know what I was doing when we created EasyWebinar back in the day. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that as a course creator, I knew webinars were the only thing that was working for me. I tried all other stuff, and at the time, as you know, it was like, what options do we have? Like posting in forums and Facebook and things like that. And I remember, like not being able to get my YouTube course off the ground because no one would buy it. I spent 6 months building this course, and I tried to launch it, and then it was crickets. Like no one would buy it. And then it was only after I decided to start creating videos in YouTube that would promote my workshops. I would say, hey, do you want to get into? Hey, would you like to get on the first page of Google, leveraging the power of YouTube? Sign up for my workshop that I'm going to be running this week, and I'm going to be sharing all the awesome stuff. Be sure to sign up, right? And so I did that, and then from that, I started seeing registrants coming into my webinars, and then I started using these webinars. I mean, at the time, it was like we had GoToWebinar. I was so scared of doing webinars. I had no idea, even though I have an acting background, like me in real life, and coming up with a sales presentation. I was so terrified of sales that I stumbled through that journey. I've probably told you about that journey where it was like, you know, learning how to, I was so terrified of selling that I never sold. And I had people reaching out to me saying, hey, can I buy something? And that's when I started to actually sell, when they were like, you have something to sell here? But that's so funny because webinars were the only thing in that first year when I actually launched my course that actually made a difference for me. And so after I launched, and I remember in 2012 when I launched my first course and actually sold my first, made actually my first bit of money as a course creator, I was like, what is next? And I was like, I don't know if I just want to be a course creator. And so I had this harebrained idea of like, what can I create that will allow me to sort of do this over and over again? And so automated webinars were like I heard about them. They were so new. There was only like one company doing automated webinars at the time. And so I said, what if we could create a WordPress plugin that was a webinar platform?
Wow.
And so I went to some developers and we talked about it, and they said, yeah, I think we could do that. And so I stumbled into that and stumbled through that and had no clue how to do it. I didn't have any mock-ups. I didn't have any designs. I didn't have any plan. I just said, can this be done? And so we eventually launched it as the EasyWebinar plugin. And that was the first, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's amazing. That kind of shows like the impact, because like I don't know what kind of impact I was creating even back then. You know, I was like just trying to get this out there and trying to get it so it worked and got results for people. And then we ended up getting good results for people. And that journey was one of these challenges, these really difficult learning curves that I had to stumble through to get to the end. And I wanted to quit multiple times in creating and developing the software. I wanted to quit multiple times in creating and developing a course to sell online. You know, I wanted to stop trying to be a consultant or or a coach, you know, multiple times because I couldn't get enough retainer work. I mean, there were so many moments when I've had that same, you know, sort of block. And that's, I mean, one of the reasons why I feel like this podcast was developed in the first place, because to be able to create the impact you want, you have to be able to push beyond boundaries that are comfortable. You have to be able to knock down, you know, impenetrable walls. You have to be able to get back up when you've been punched multiple times by life in general. And you have to be able to multitask, even if you feel like you can't do one additional thing. You know, you as a mom of two and having to start at a point where your kids were young, 5 and 11. You have to be a full-time mom. You have to be a full-time, and you have to try to create a full-time business. It's not easy. It is.
Don't add on activities. Sports activities.
You have to be you still want to be a good mom. You still want to be, you know, a good person in life without sacrificing your entire world to be able to become an entrepreneur. And that's me as well. I didn't want to, you know, nowadays, back then when I started, I didn't have kids. I had, you know, my wife and, you know, and we had to, I almost lost my house a couple times, you know, in foreclosure. And me pulling myself out of foreclosure was starting this new business. The only way I saw myself being able to pay for my house, to pull it out of foreclosure before I lost it all, was to start this new business. And that was why I needed it to succeed.
But you know what? I think situations like that is what lights the fire under a lot of entrepreneurs. Like you said earlier, a lot of us have wanted to turn it all over and let it go. I can't even tell you how many times that I have applied for jobs and said, give me a cubicle.
Mm-hmm.
It lasts for maybe, a day or two, and then I'm back. But there's been multiple times I'm like, I'm over it. Give me a cubicle. I'll go back to work. And then I really think about it. I'm like, paycheck, close the deal. No, we're not doing that. But it's situations like that that really light the fire under. And I think that, even every person that we're going to be bringing on the podcast is going to share, their stories and their journey of how they have overcome similar obstacles, in order for them to set themselves up for success, to be able to make an impact, not only, in business, but in their tribe and in their circle as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is why we created this podcast, so that we could show and highlight people that have come before us, that have struggled, that have hit those barriers, hit them again and again, push beyond boundaries that were completely uncomfortable. And so that you, the listener, can be inspired to know that it's possible, that that you can make this happen on your own, that you're not alone, that you're not facing this on your own, that you're not in some siloed thing. And the thing is, for me personally, why did we create the Impact Warrior podcast, and why warrior? Also, I think because...
Yes, tell us the story behind that.
Well, but okay, so the warrior idea is you have to, I mean, it makes sense, to be able to get where you want to be, you have to be strong. You have to find strength in yourself. And a warrior is obviously someone who has to battle the odds, right? And every single day as an entrepreneur, we are battling the odds. We are having to problem solve and defeat the defeat the dragon, defeat something, right? So I like the idea of warrior. So that's why I thought, well, this makes sense. An impact warrior is like someone who knows that they have to defeat this thing in order to create the impact that they want. And the impact is greater than the thing that they're trying to defeat, right? And they know that they can do it. They can create the impact in the world that they want, but they have they need a support mechanism. They need a place. They need a soundboard where they can hear from other people who have also defeated that sort of, dragon, to be able to create the impact that they want in the world. So that's where Impact Warrior, the name, came from, and why we developed it. And the other side of this is that as founder of a platform, named EasyWebinar, and having people every single day come through our system, we see people always using the power of webinars to be able to break through and create more impact for their audiences by creating good webinars that present their products better, more effectively, more efficiently, that help them create more sales, and in turn, by creating more sales, have more customers, and by having more customers, more impact in those customers' lives. And so that was where this all came from. We were going to call it Webinar Warrior, but then Impact Warrior made more sense because, and I'll tell you why, because the whole idea of this podcast is to help and inspire them to know that they can create impact in their customers' lives. And so we wanted to pass that ownership of impact over to them, because they're the ones that are now creating impact in other people's worlds and lives. So that was the intention. So that's why I love this, this idea, this journey. And is from a selfish perspective, I have been, over the last year during COVID and the time that we're recording this, I was locked down. I did not go out. I did not see people. I did not hang out. I did not go. There were no events to go to. I
Nope.
didn't even do a lot of online coaching session, like meetups, So I have been craving the connection with other entrepreneurs who have been there, who have stories to tell. I need their stories because every day is a new obstacle that I get to overcome. And I used to say that I have to overcome, but no, I get to overcome that obstacle. And yeah, it sometimes sucks, but at the same time, it's a gift that I am the one that gets to overcome this high level obstacle that I can handle, And but at the same time, I was wanting to get connected with more people. And so this was somewhat of a selfish thing, that I wanted to get on with people that are doing great things in the world and talk to them about how they're getting through some of those obstacles, how they're breaking through some of those barriers, the impenetrable walls that they can't, that have been placed in front of them. What are they doing that other people don't know about? And how can I pull out that stuff and share it with other people? How can we do that, Dakisha, and pull that into the conversations that are done in this podcast, so that other people who are listening, the listeners of this podcast, can actually benefit from it, apply it, and then start creating the impact that they need to create in the world. That is kind of why Impact Warrior was born.
Well, I'm excited because, number one, when we are on this journey, a lot of times we don't know the impact that we are making in real time. So this is an opportunity for us to highlight individuals in our community, in our tribe, in our circles, that have not only made an impact in their tribe, but even an impact in our lives. Because we're going to be inviting, individuals that are making an impact in the EasyWebinar community, individuals that are making an impact in both your life, my life, in your business, my business. So I'm just excited to be able to open up this platform to other high-level entrepreneurs that will be able to give back to the audience and be able to see the impact, whether they know it or not, that they're making. And so it will show, based on the, the feedback that we get, because we're going to get we're going to ask you guys to give us a rating. When we upload the podcast episode, so you have to give us a rating, and so that's going to show the impact that the podcast is making.
You got to tell us how we're doing. I mean, if we're sucking, you got to let us know. If we're doing all right, give us something. But if we're not doing that great, you have to tell us. You have to tell us.
Email us.
But email would be better.
Email us.
So who is Dakisha and Casey, I guess, in this, and why do we team up, and why are we doing this? So Dakisha is helping us and me with navigating the podcast world, and also helping us to create more connections and relationships with our community, partners, other entrepreneurs. So Dakisha is amazing at that. And here's the thing, guys, because she is the webinar queen, and not that I have been deemed the webinar king or anything like that.
I gave you that name.
She did. That was from Dakisha. She did the thing where she's like knighted me or something. It was
I did.
Amazing. Yeah, she did. So that's why we also thought that this would be great, that we could team up. Now, is Dakisha going to be on all of the interviews? Possibly not. Am I going to be on all the interviews by myself? Possibly not. So Dakisha might be doing it. I might be doing it. So, right. I think that's what you can expect. So if you don't see necessarily Dakisha on or participating in the conversation, some of those sessions were like set up for me and the guest to come in to explore the conversation. But some will be all of us communicating and talking and discussing with Dakisha and myself and our guests, or it might be Dakisha and the guest, or me and the guest. So just so you know, there could be
A little mixture. We mix it up a little bit.
Any combination of those of those three. So
so as we close out, let's share a little bit about what's to come and what's to expect for EasyWebinar, and then we'll wrap up episode 0.
Yeah. So as you know, founder of EasyWebinar, we have some fun, cool stuff on the way with EasyWebinar. We have a version 2 that's rolling out very soon. So at the time of recording this, it's not out yet, but we have it coming out very soon in the next, I think in the next quarter. Yeah. And it's been a long time coming because as EasyWebinar, you know, we're a powerful tool that people use all the time to basically scale their businesses up, right? They use it all the time, and the people that really create the most impact in their business and using our platform are people that are selling and using it 24/7, using the evergreen features and automated features, right? And so we're a very powerful tool, and we don't take our responsibility lightly in the world, because we have some customers who are literally sending hundreds of thousands of leads a month into our system. And so we're a powerful tool. The one thing about EasyWebinar is that the interface that it exists as it is right now has been not challenging, but it hasn't been as fluid as we've always wanted it. And we go back to our beacon of easy. So our name is EasyWebinar. We want to be easy. And so we have been working tirelessly on a new version that redefines easy for us, right? And that's always been a challenge with software. It's like, how do you make it simple yet powerful, right? And that's actually what we're doing right now. We are working as hard as we can to make it simple yet powerful. Keep all the powerful features, add in some cool new stuff that you guys haven't seen yet, but also simplify the flow. And so we're on a mission to simplify this flow. And EasyWebinar is just the beginning. There's more to come, but I'm not going to share that. I can't go into detail.
Don't tell it all.
I can't go into detail on all that stuff, which, you know, goes into some other tools, but I'm going to stop there. But be on the lookout for our next version. Be on the lookout for a fun challenge that'll be on its way, coming soon. And more importantly, be on the lookout for hearing from entrepreneurs and people that are trying to create an impact and difference in the world, trying to create more freedom in life, trying to be able to create a legacy in their lives. And so be on the lookout for hearing stories from people who do that, who embody that can also be inspiration for you to be able to create that for yourself. So please, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. There are going to be cries. There are going to be laughs. I don't know if there's going to be anger. I mean,
I hope not.
I hope not either.
You know what? I tell you what.
Yeah.
Sometimes throughout the interviews, we may hear some things that may trigger us, and hopefully it will impact us to do better, to learn.
Right.
So you never know.
I mean, wouldn't it be interesting if we aired something where someone was like, threw the mic down and ran off? Just kept the video running. Oh yeah, recording.
Thank God it's video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
And virtual.
We decided to do video for this, by the way, as well. I don't know why, considering the fact that right now, as I've mentioned before, I'm in Iowa, so I'm in my wife's childhood bedroom, and that is why there's a big tie-dye black hole over here, or whatever you want to call this thing right here. But beautiful, it's, you know,
artwork. Beautiful.
This is what I call it. I want to send you this energy, everyone. This energy is coming at you, okay? I want to give you all these colors, all these beautiful energy coming to you. Okay, that's what this is. That's why I'm in a bright, cheerful room.
See, it kind of puts you in the mind of the chakra colors too. I don't even have my chakra. I don't even have my chakra bracelet.
And I don't know anything about chakra, but that's what that makes me feel anyway. It just gives me a bundle of light. That's all that does.
There you go.
There's this purple door behind me.
Chakras.
But as you to point out, you said like the idea is that me and my family and I can travel when we want and be gone for 2 months and still be able to do our work, still be able to create the impact, and so it doesn't really matter where I'm at. Even I can be as I am right now in the middle of nowhere on a farm and still do these interviews and sessions. So it's pretty cool.
I love it. Well, we look forward to more episodes. We appreciate you listening to episode 0 of Impact Warriors podcast, hosted by none other than EasyWebinar founder, Casey Zeman, and DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO.
Mm-hmm. That kind of looks like a 0, doesn't it?
A couple of zeros.
A couple of zeros.
A couple of them, like you outline them.
Yeah.
I still go with the chakras.
Let's go with chakra.
All right, guys, we'll be signing off, and we look forward to make sure that you leave a comment, leave a rating. So we'll be uploading multiple episodes. Hit the subscribe button so that you are notified when our episodes go live. And also check out the show notes. We'll be giving away some free gifts, some awesome free tools, free resources as well. And you can go to caseyzeman.com to get access to all podcast episodes. Again, my name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO. Back over to you, Casey.
And this is Casey Zeman, founder of EasyWebinar. We'll see you in the next episode.